Is free, unlimited healthcare for Pokemon trainers an unsustainable practice? I mean, who's paying for that? Who's paying for that? And who's paying for her? These are all questions which I've pondered since playing my very first Pokemon game as a kid. I was a bit of a weird child. But come on, what economic value are Pokemon trainers providing to warrant free healthcare? I don't even pay taxes over the money I do make over the course of the game, so really, who is paying for all this? For this video, I've done intensive research and I figured it out. I've dissected the economic system of the Pokemon world across generations to explain to you all why the Pokemon economy is not just grinding to a halt, but ready for a complete collapse. To prove my point, let's look at the prices in the shops. As the two core items, we have the potions and the Pokeballs. Pokeballs cost 100 Pokédollars and potions cost 300 Pokédollars across all Pokemon games. This is an interesting fact, pointing to the idea that the Pokemon world may be subjected to heavy government regulation and price controls. But prices across the games mean nothing by themselves. We need to know how much time has passed across the games to determine what healthy inflation would have looked like. The most consistent way to build a timeline of the Pokemon games, and to be clear, we are focusing on the games here, is to follow the characters of Red and Blue. Stated as being 11 in their home games of Red and Blue, we'll have this as our baseline, with the events happening in Gen 1 being the year 0 AR, after Red. We know for a fact that Gen 2 happens 3 years after the events of Gen 1, in the year 3 AR. In Black and White 2, you can battle Red as well, and judging by his appearance, he's roughly the same age as he was in Gold and Silver, meaning Black and White 2 takes place alongside Gen 2. Since 2 years have taken place between Black and White 2, Black and White itself takes place 1 year after Red and Blue. Now the big kicker is Red's appearance in Sun and Moon, where he has clearly aged significantly, and finding his age here is vital. We happen to know that X and Y takes place at the same time as Black and White 2, and Sun and Moon comes after that. But what is the time gap here? There's 20 years between the releases of Red and Blue and Sun and Moon, and by looking at their sprites, Red and Blue being around 30 would absolutely fit. So, how much have prices changed in this period? Absolutely nothing. In Sun and Moon, Pokeballs cost 100 Pokédollars like they've always done. In terms of what we consider a healthy level of inflation, 2% a year, prices should have already risen by about 50% across this period. Sorry for the quick intermission, but this is a new channel. If you want to support more content like this, please do subscribe. Thank you. So, prices across the Pokemon world aren't going up, but are wages rising? How have incomes changed across our two main games? This is a list of trainer classes that exist in both games, and here is a selection of some classes and how much money they pay out after a battle. To get the amount that a specific trainer pays out, you need to take the number associated with a trainer class and multiply that by the level of the last Pokemon on a trainer's team. Across this period, the payout for your average class has increased by a whopping 76%, implying a substantial increase of wealth across this period. But this is a little bit of an unfair calculation, as trainer classes like the boss or the champion only appear once, while these public nuisances are hiding behind practically every rock in the world. Doing the calculations again while taking this into account, we get a weighted price increase of 95%. That's insane. The biggest percentual winners are the Psychics, who went up by an insane 380% from 10 to 48 Pokédollars. Very impressive. Still, as you might expect, it's the elites who profit the most by far. The champion had the largest absolute increase. Blue in Generation 1 had an income of 99. Kukui in Gen 7 had an income of 240. That's a flat 141 increase. In Gen 1, being champion paid about twice as well as your average job. In Gen 7, this has become 3 times as much. Clearly, the rich are getting richer off the backs of the poor. And it's not just the champion either. Other wealthy classes, like the Gentleman and the Elite 4 members, went up with 130 and 101 Pokédollars respectively. With the same metric, we can see the first signs of the Poké economy grinding to a halt by looking at youth unemployment. It seems like youngster Joey has fallen on hard times, as the younger classes like the lads, the youngster and the junior trainers had respective 7, 7 and 0% income increases in the same period that the champion became 142% wealthier. This implies that there are not enough jobs for the adolescent youngsters, or their parents can't give them the same allowance that they used to. Another sign of the economic downturn for the common person can be seen with the hikers and the beauties. Hikers are simple lads living their best life, hiking across the region, possibly retired, and they became 9% poorer in this time frame, implying economic hardships for these engines of Rock Tunnel's economy. Similarly, it seems like OnlyFans has gone bankrupt, as the beauties have become destitute during this time period, going from 70 to 32 Poké-dollars, a 56% decrease. The beauty used to be among the upper classes in Gen 1, but she now earns about as much as a hiker, implying there just isn't as much room in the Poké economy for luxury expenditures, and the beauty is spending a higher percentage of her income on keeping up her appearances. So what does this all mean? It means that the Poké economy will collapse in the very near future. Across a period of 20 years, prices have remained stable, while the weighted average income went up by 96%. This means that on average, people can buy twice as much stuff in Sun and Moon as they could in Red and Blue, at least in terms of Pokemon battling items. Now, you may wonder, why does this matter? Everyone gets more stuff, that's great for everyone, right? Well, it can be, if these lower prices are driven by industry innovation, reducing cost, but I doubt that that's the case. The decline of the young people, as well as the decrease in working class wages, like that of the scientist, who would be a major factor in developing better production method, declined by 4% across this period. All of this makes me think that the profits of the Pokemon world are increasingly going to the real rulers of this world. Competitive Pokemon battlers. And it's not just the top of the top either. Ace trainers, who seemingly provide little economic value beyond some entertainment, almost had their wages double in this period. The stagnation of shop prices looks more like deliberate government policy rather than the result of better production methods. Another evidence of government meddling comes from the free public healthcare for Pokemon seemingly provided by the government. Like, really, who is paying for all of this? And so I guess it's time to come to the real thesis of this video. What and why is happening to the Pokemon economy? It is very well known that the Champion and Elite Four have a huge influence on the Poké world, and they're the only thing even close to a government that we see across the games. Now it just so happens that the income of the Champion, Elite Four and other competitive Pokemon battlers went up by far the most in this time frame. Knowing that it's these types of people who rule the Pokemon region, I can now pull back the curtain and expose the very real monkey business of corruption that's leading to the rot of the Pokemon world. The very institution of Pokemon battling is an unprofitable leech dragging down the Pokemon economy. Pokemon trainers have beasts that have the power of entire armies in our world. So, the government provides free healthcare and subsidized shop prices to keep this huge and terrifying population base happy. All of this comes at the expense of non-competitive Pokemon battlers, since they don't possess weapons capable of bringing down the government, so they are being crushed by higher taxes and stagnating wages, all to subsidize the unproductive members of society like the Ace Trainer, who is just a net drain on the Poké economy. But now, the Poké world is about to hit a brick wall. This economic system of propping up the unproductive institution of Pokemon battling at the expense of real economic activity, the government is putting itself in a corner. Eventually, the prices in the shops will need to go up. But because of the government's idiotic policies, this is sure to cause a riot. Instead of steady price increases year after year, once the government budget finally cracks and price controls are deemed unsustainable, prices could explode by anywhere between 50 and 100%, causing riots across the world. So, let me leave you off with a warning. I do not know when the Poké economic crash will happen, but I know it will happen. And you should brace yourself. The next Pokemon game could very well occur in the midst of the biggest economic breakdown in the Poké world. Don't expect free healthcare in the next game. Oh no. The next Pokemon games will be Pokemon Hard Times and Pokemon Revolution. Money for winning battles? Get out of here, we need that for food. The gym leaders have barricaded their gyms to protect themselves from the mobs, as Pokemon centers have closed down without government support. Team Rocket had a massive revival, as the Champion and Elite Four have gone into hiding. Good luck, kiddo, you're not just trying to collect badges, you're gonna have to deal with economic theory and fix the struggling economy in the next game of the series. But that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching, consider supporting this new channel by leaving a like and a comment, and subscribing for more. Let me know if you agree with me in the comments, but at the end of the day, who am I but a ranting Dutchman?